The world is watching fearfully in anticipation of the potential for a Russian invasion into Ukraine.
And the jury returns with a final verdict in a federal hate crime trial.
And a look at two local women with a heart for sustainability, a business set to serve the community.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Madison Myers.
And I'm Sydney Deshawn.
Today, the world is waiting. Will Russia invade their neighbor Ukraine and possibly begin the deadliest fighting in Europe since World War II? Hope for a diplomatic solution is weakening. Isabel Rosales is in Washington with more.
U.S. intelligence and satellite images reveal Russia going full speed ahead with military preps.
Today might be that day, and we hope that's not the case, which is why we continue to exhaust every possible diplomatic option here going forward.
In a TV broadcast, Russian President Vladimir Putin accusing the West of threats. The Russian president says he is officially recognizing the separatist regions in Ukraine as independent states. Putin airing his grievances about the breakup of the former Soviet republics.
Modern Ukraine from the beginning and in its totality has been created by Russia.
The U.S. and allies warn every indication shows Russia is preparing to invade.
These are not the actions of a Russian government fulfilling its repeated declarations that it has no intention of invading Ukraine.
The U.S. also says it has credible information about a Russian kill list, writing in a letter to the United Nations that Russia is identifying Ukrainians to be killed or sent to camps. The Kremlin denying the claim, calling it absolute fiction.
We believe that any military operation of the size, scope, and magnitude of what we believe the Russians are planning will be extremely violent. It will cost the lives of Ukrainians and Russians, civilians and military personnel alike.
The Russian escalation at the front lines is at odds with what Putin has said publicly. Putin agreeing to a summit with President Joe Biden.
He can do the right thing by finding a diplomatic path forward.
Biden accepting on the condition Russia not invade Ukraine. In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting Monday night following Russia's decision to order troops into Ukraine. On Monday afternoon, President Vladimir Putin signed a decree recognizing two regions within Ukraine as independent states. He then sent troops into those regions as peacekeepers. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, says the world needs to act now.
In this moment, no one can stand on the sidelines. We must make it clear that an attack on Ukraine is an attack on the sovereignty of every UN member state and the UN Charter, and that it will be met with swift and severe consequences. We continue to believe that the diplomatic table is the only place where responsible nations resolve their differences. That is the only place to preserve peace.
Thomas Greenfield spoke plainly on Putin's decision to place troops within Ukraine's borders and the path that lies ahead.
In doing so, he has put before the world a choice. We must meet the moment, and we must not look away. History tells us that looking the other way in the face of such hostility will be a far more costly path.
Ukraine's foreign minister is set to hold talks with the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken today. Blinken is also scheduled to meet with Russia's foreign minister on Thursday.
Following Putin's plans to recognize two regions in Ukraine as separate states, President Biden has signed an executive order restricting trade in the now Russian-controlled regions of Ukraine. The order prohibits new investments, trades, and financing within the cities of Donetsk and Luhansk. In addition, it authorizes the U.S. to impose sanctions against any business operating within the separatist regions. Additional sanctions are expected to be imposed later today as well. You know, yesterday was so warm, but I had to bundle up today with all this crazy weather, Sydney.
I even heard it was supposed to snow up to ½ an inch later this week. I just don't know what to expect, but I know somebody who does. Let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Ryan Cantrell. Ryan?
Well, y'all, the current temperatures we're experiencing is thanks to a cold front that blew through early this morning. And we are expecting some snowstorms later tomorrow and Thursday, excuse me. Now, speaking of severe weather, let's talk about the storms we saw last night. Multiple supercell systems blew through northeast last night, bringing in hail, rain, lightning, and gusty winds. Minimal damage was reported, but I hope y'all will have stayed safe during that storm, and I hope you guys continue to stay safe during the next winter weather. Now, speaking of winter weather, let's talk about what we're currently experiencing here in Denton. Currently, we're at 40 degrees actual temperature, wind chill at 31 degrees, thanks to those northerly 18-mile-per-hour winds. On to tonight, it's going to get down just by a hair at 38 degrees actual temperature, wind chill at 27, northerly winds at 17 miles per hour. On to tomorrow, we'll expect some cloudy days again, temperature even lower at 27 degrees, wind chill at 14 degrees. Northerly winds at 16 miles per hour. That's all I got for my first weather. Tune in for my full weathercast later. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Ryan. It's been nearly 2 years since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. The vaccine has been here for over a year now, but as cases decline, experts are saying that you might need a second booster shot in the fall. CNN's Reed Binion has the latest details.
In less than 3 weeks, the world will mark the second anniversary of the declaration of COVID-19 as a pandemic by the World Health Organization. At this point, nearly 2 years later, after multiple waves, case counts in the U.S. are overall on the decline. New cases averaging roughly 103,000 per day. That's the lowest level since early December when Omicron was surging. Hospitalizations declining 26% from last week. But with just 28% of people in the U.S. now boosted and the pace of vaccination slowing, experts say the push for full vaccination and boosting remains critical.
I think it's safe to assume that we're not done vaccinating for this virus.
And an additional recommended booster dose may be ahead. The FDA says while it's continuing to monitor new data, officials could recommend another boost in fall.
Many of us expect that in the years to come, we will have yearly doses of COVID vaccine, the same way that we do for the flu vaccine, in order to protect us against new variants that rear their head as we go into cold weather months.
This comes amid encouraging news about COVID treatments. According to a new, not yet peer-reviewed study in India, Merck's antiviral drug molnupiravir cut hospitalization risk by 65%, an improvement over a previous study of the drug. It was approved by the Food and Drug Administration in December to treat some cases. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
After the break, find out what the jury decided for in the Ahmaud Arbery trial.
And how this major U.S. city is combating violence on the way to work. Stay with us.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
The jury for the federal hate crimes trial of the 3 men convicted of murdering Ahmaud Arbery began deliberations for their final verdict on Monday. After 3 hours of deliberations, the men were found guilty on all counts this morning. Jury members were tasked with deciding whether the men committed the crime because of the color of Arbery's skin. The final verdict was reached just 1 day before the 2-year anniversary of Arbery's death. The defendants are already serving life sentences and will now likely face additional fines, penalties, or sentences. They will have 2 weeks to file any appeals to the court.
Life in Ottawa is starting to return to normal following Canadian protests that slowed the supply chain across North America. Ottawa police have removed more than 100 checkpoints across the city. Thousands of people had been occupying downtown Ottawa protesting COVID-19 related mandates. Nearly 200 protesters have been arrested, with more than 100 of those facing charges related to the demonstrations. But now everything from bus routes, schools, and businesses have begun to reopen.
After a weekend full of violence, New York City's subway safety plan went into effect on Monday. The city is sending out hundreds of law enforcement workers to patrol the subways. CNN's Jen Grass has more.
Tonight, a zero-tolerance policy in New York City's transit system is in effect.
No more smoking, no more doing drugs, no more sleeping, no more doing barbecues on the subway system, no more just doing whatever you want. No, those days are over.
This as the city recorded an alarming 6 stabbings or slashings over the weekend in the subway system, and 2 alleged assaults where NYPD officers recovered this, a hatchet they say was used in one attack.
Ever since the pandemic, there's been more mental health issues, and we see it a lot on the trains.
The string of underground attacks started Friday evening. A man was stabbed at a station near Columbia University after police say he asked someone to stop smoking. It happened just hours after city and state leaders announced a multi-layer plan to improve transit conditions.
I have one message for New Yorkers. We can and we will do better.
The 17-page safety plan begins with hundreds of NYPD officers canvassing stations and trains to enforce the rules of riding. They'll work as part of 30 response teams from several social service agencies who will address mental health needs and homelessness.
Our officers are going to physically ride the trains with these teams. We're going to support them. We're going to be at the end stations to help them when they take people off the train to get them the services they need.
The plan already facing resistance, and the mayor standing firm.
The vast majority of the unhoused and mentally ill are not dangerous. But we have to be honest about the numbers of individuals who are dealing with mental health crises. They are dangerous to themselves and dangerous to New Yorkers.
We are very concerned that it overly relies on criminalization and policing strategies to address what is fundamentally a housing and mental health crisis.
The crackdown comes a month after the killing of Michelle Go, a 40-year-old woman who was pushed onto the Times Square tracks by a man police say was experiencing homelessness. Calls for reform were immediate.
Based on what's been going on lately in the subways, then I really think that's a good idea. Because people need to feel safe.
Police say that many of the acts of crime are still under investigation. With all this cold weather, I can't help but wonder when we'll be seeing those warm temperatures again, Sydney.
Hopefully it will warm up by this weekend because I honestly cannot stand this cold weather. Let's toss it over to our weather expert, Ryan Cantrell, to see when our warm temperatures will be back. Ryan?
Well, guys, we could see those warm temperatures later this weekend as the skies start to clear, but we are in for a winter storm tomorrow and Thursday, but I will get into that in our 7-day forecast. We got the Apogee camera up, mostly cloudy skies, and we could see some clearing later on, although I wouldn't count on it. Temperatures in the North Texas region are in the high 30s and low 40s. Currently, Paris is at 40 degrees, Sulphur Springs at 46, and Graham at 38. Now, on to the entire state. That monster cold front we're currently experiencing has not traveled all the way south. So as you can see, we see Austin at 79, Houston at 79 too, and Shreveport out there at 76. This cold front is possibly in this region. And as it said, Amarillo is at 17, affected by it. Abilene at 47, and then El Paso should get its effects later on today. And speaking of which, it's my 7-day forecast. So we are currently experiencing cloudy conditions with our snowstorm expected tomorrow with a high of 25 and a low of 25 degrees. 70% precipitation. Thursday, same conditions. High chance of snow at 80% chance of rain. 34-degree high. However, this weekend we're starting to see those skies clear and not ideal temperatures, but pretty mild. 42 on Friday, all the way to 54 on Monday. Now that's all I have for my full weather forecast. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Ryan. Spring break is right around the corner, and if you don't have plans yet, check this out. The world's largest cruise ship is ready to welcome all passengers aboard on March 4th. Over 6,900 guests and 2,300 crew members can be held on this 1,200-foot ship. The ship offers 18 decks with the tallest slide at sea, a 10-deck high zipline, and a poolside movie screen. Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas starts its travel from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to the Caribbean for its first ever voyage. While cruise ships start to hold more people and increase in size, mask mandates are becoming more relaxed. Beginning March 1st, masks will be recommended but not required on Carnival cruise ships. According to the Carnival Corporation, 13 million passengers sail on a Carnival-owned ship in a typical year. With so many people traveling on these ships, the company may require passengers to wear masks to certain venues and events.
If you love your furry four-legged friend, then you'll love this special holiday.
And how this Denton shop is helping students with their craft projects. Up next after the break.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
I heard today is a pretty special day for our furry friends.
That's right, Sydney. It's National Dog Walking Day. Our segment anchor Carmen Collins can tell us more about it. Carmen?
Thanks, Sydney and Maddie. Today is National Walking Dog Day.
Spring is right around the corner, which is just in time to bring your dogs out to a local park. If you are wondering where to go, there's a dog park called North Lake Dog Park on Windsor Drive. Before walking your dog, make sure you have what they need to walk safely. Come comfortably. What they need may differ from health, age, condition, fur types, and energy levels, to be attentive to those things. If it's cold or rainy, make sure your dog is wearing a jacket or a sweater with socks or boots. For their safety, never leave them unattended. A dog leash is recommended. The holiday is all day today, so let the dogs play and have fun. That's it for Denton on a Dime. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Carmen. Once a semester, students are usually forced to go to a craft store and buy a bunch of supplies for one art project. So what then are you supposed to do with a million leftover googly eyes? Well, these two Denton business owners might have the answer. ntTV's Michelle Brooks has the story.
Carrie and Gina have found a way to reimagine your local craft store experience.
So our mission is to inspire sustainable creativity and living through extending and reimagining the life cycle of materials.
The concept itself is practiced more commonly than you would think.
When I was little, I was super crafty, and I would make things out of shoe boxes and popsicle sticks and leftover fabrics from my mom's projects. So I was practicing creative reuse, from the age of 5, maybe.
The store is donation-based with a few local vendors featured, and through their own programs and partnerships with Keep Denton Beautiful and Armadillo Ale Works, the team also gives back.
The Denton community is so important to us, and so we offer our Give Back program for educators, teachers, other nonprofits around town. So those people can apply online for our Give Back program, and then we'll give them a certain amount of credit in the store, or if they're looking for something specific that we can give them for free, we're happy to do that. And obviously we have no shortage of materials, so giving to nonprofits and educators and other people in the community is really important to us.
You can visit Thistle Creative Reuse off Oakland Street near the TWU campus or online.
In partnership with the Denton Redbud Festival on April 23rd, Thistle Creative Reuse will host a sustainable fashion design competition marked the Reuse Runway. To get signed up, check out their website. I heard both of our basketball teams have winning streaks. Isn't that so incredible?
That's right, Sydney. Our women's team has got their 6th consecutive win, and the men's team has their 12th. Our sports reporter Brandon Brunworth has the scoop. Brandon?
Thanks, Maddie and Sydney. Yes, both UNT's men's and women's basketball are on a real hot streak. I'll give you the latest on all that and more after the break.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
The Winter Olympics came to a close on Sunday night, with the United States underperforming through most of the games, walking away fourth in the medal count, one gold medal shy of China for third. But through all of the heartbreak and scandals, highs and lows, the biggest story to me to come out of these games is that no one seems to care. These Winter Olympics have been a disaster for NBC, with the average viewer count down 47% from the 2018 games. Losing 50% of your viewer count is not only alarming, it's cause to question if the Olympics hold the same meaning for people that it used to, even just 4 years ago. So why were the Olympic Games received so badly? Perhaps fatigue from having had the Summer Olympics just 7 months ago, the numerous scandals and corruption that seemed to surround the IOC, or maybe the fact that no one was in the stands took away from much of the excitement. No matter what you believe, it's clear that something needs to change for the people to care about the Olympics in 2026. Your UNT men's basketball team is on an absolute roll right now, winning a thriller against UAB on Saturday night when Tyler Perry drained the go-ahead three-pointer with 3 seconds left to win the game 58-57. Perry recorded a game-high 25 points, and his game winner was his 6th three-pointer of the night, a career high. With the victory, UNT has now won 12 straight in 18 of its last 19 games. UNT has not lost a game on the road this year, sharing that honor with only #1 Gonzaga. They are the only other team that has been undefeated. Excited times for UNT fans as they are playing their best basketball as we head into March. Our men's team isn't the only one dominating on the court right now, as your Mean Green women's basketball team made history with their first ever 6-game winning streak in the school history. The win gives them a chance in the Conference USA division. It's the best win streak in the league right now, and defense has been the reason for their successes, holding their last 5 conference opponents to 60 points or less. Allie Games shot 75% from behind the arc, and Madison Townley recorded 12 rebounds to help push them past UAB for the 4th straight time. The ladies will go on the road for the last time this regular season when they travel to Southern Mississippi and Louisiana Tech next week. That's all for sports. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Brandon. St. Patrick's Day is around the corner, and if you're a fan of sweet treats, well, you're in luck. McDonald's has brought back its Shamrock Shake just in time for the celebration. As of yesterday, customers can order the Shamrock Shake or the Shamrock McFlurry, an Oreo-flavored twist to the holiday treat. Make sure to grab one before time runs out. The Shamrock Shake and the Oreo Shamrock McFlurry will only be available for a limited time.
Thanks for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tomorrow here on North Texas Television.